All right, welcome everybody to week 17, day 1, last week of school. Next week's finals week. You don't have a final in this class, so the way that finals week will work in this class is that we'll meet on probably the regular class times, honestly, unless you got a final or something. Just I'll be here during those class times, and you basically show up, you present your project. So you'll share your screen and show me your mod, show me your Unreal Engine project, and that's it. So I don't know, you could probably play some Jackbox or something too, but that's basically it. You should try to have all of it done this week so that you can focus on your finals during finals week. It's probably a bad idea to start your project next week. might be a little late at that point. So yeah, if you don't finish by the end of the week, then unfortunately you get a 0 on it. So it's important to have something, right? Always try to have your project working. Always try to have something to show and build up from there. Don't try to do something really grandiose at first. Always start small, go slow. That's just good philosophy for most engineering projects, right? Just always have something that works. Always have something that you can show off. So a couple questions on the chat. Mission complete screen. Don't know how to screen share. Just on Discord, there's a button for sharing your screen. You might need to be given permissions for it. We'll do that. We'll do that next week. And if you can't make the class times because you have conflicting finals, because the final schedule is kind of weird. But like I said, we don't have a final in this class, so if you can't make it during those times, just contact me on Discord, and you can share your screen with me anytime. Really, there's nothing like official or something like that. There's no attendance. I guess there is technically attendance taken during finals week, so it's kind of weird though. I don't know. It's too late to drop you, so I don't know what difference it makes. But, all I did so far is finish a Minecraft mod, trying to finish a shooter. New speaking officers. Yeah, so by the way, there's bonus office hours tonight, 6 to 8, and bonus office hours Thursday, 6 to 8. So the school does something called Power Up Week during the last week before finals. And so I volunteered to do 4 extra office hours this week. So I have my normal office hours Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 11 to 12, and then there's 4 extra office hours Tuesdays and Thursday nights, 6 to 8. On Discord, not in real life. In real life, they like go into the pit on campus, I think, and like people set up different areas for the different topics, and I'm like, not during a pandemic, so I'm gonna just do it all online. Okay, So yeah, a couple things I want to show today. We can definitely do a game over screen. That's I can actually show you the one I made. That's probably the easiest way of doing it. But I wanted to go over timers because I've kind of showed you 2 different ways of doing timers so far in Unreal Engine. And are you launching? Okay. And I'll show you the third way, which I really kind of wanted to get to earlier, but either way. It's not like you're missing anything, but it's kind of a cleaner way of doing timers, and I've been kind of meaning to get around to it. So while this thing is loading, I did install the DLSS plugin for Unreal Engine. For whatever reason, it came built into Unreal Engine 4.26, and then 4.27 removed it. Then it's a separate download, which is kind of a weird and awkward process to go through. You have to go onto their developer website and unpack these folders into this folder, and it's just kind of odd that they would put something in core and then take it out, but then make it downloadable. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird decision in my view, especially since Unreal Engine 4 is kind of coming to an end. While this is loading, it's cool. It's compiling shaders again for some reason. Let's talk about Unreal Engine 5. Let's do that. So a game over screen, UN screen, either way, displaying a picture on the screen. Okay. So Unreal Engine 5 is pretty cool. I've been going through that. I'm probably going to start teaching Unreal Engine 5 next year. People have been asking me since the preview became available if I was going to switch to it. And I've been sort of leery of highly experimental products for a while now because, if you look at the number of bugs we've found in Unreal Engine 4, right? And Unreal Engine 4 has been out for like a decade or so. And even still, like, you do something and like it just doesn't update, or like the anchor widget doesn't redraw on the screen, or everything turns black, or like there's still substantial numbers of bugs in Unreal Engine 4. And so Unreal Engine 5 being a new thing, I was just like, nah, I'm going to hold off on that. So until it's a little more solid. So the plan is right now to start teaching it maybe next semester. Probably in the fall, maybe in the summer. It really depends on where the state of it is. So the cool thing about Unreal, there's a lot of cool things though about Unreal Engine 5, and there's kind of like three things that I want to talk about with Unreal Engine 5, and let's see if there's just play the video of it. Let's see if there's a link here. 5, yeah, I'm still compiling shaders. Cool. So one of the big things is that they're kind of restructuring how the streaming data off. Okay, I don't care. Okay. They in fact got the next generation consoles to actually kind of redo their hardware so that Unreal Engine 5 would look nice and run well on it. So you can see here they're like kind of zooming in and zooming out. And so what they do now is they have sort of like a dynamic level of detail streaming kind of thing, where like as you get closer to an object, it loads more of the triangles, and as you get further away, it drops the triangles. And so, is that bounce lighting? Yeah, okay. So they're doing bounce lighting, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Lumen is the second thing I was going to talk about. The first thing is this notion of geometry streaming. And so basically, right now what happens is if you have a very high triangle count mesh, what you do is you decimate it. There's different words for that. But what you do is let's say you have, I don't know, this statue here. And this statue might be like 10,000, 10 million, let's say, triangles in Blender. And so what you do is you export it at a variety of level of detail settings so that you have a high res, medium res, low res version. And even the high res version, when it goes into a game, is usually not like super millions of triangles. And what they do is they eliminate redundant triangles. Like if you have two triangles that are really close to each other, it'll just replace them with one. And then as you walk forward, it'll pop from one level of detail to another. And what Unreal Engine 5 is doing is it's sort of having a continuous level of detail thing, where as you get closer to an object, it'll load more and more of the triangles in, and you'll get more and more detail kind of seamlessly. And in order to do that, you have to have a SSD, right? You have to be able to very quickly pull that data up, because like they can run up to that wall really quite fast, and so you have to be able to pull all that extra detail in real time. And that's why the Xbox and the PS5 have these high-speed SSDs in them that are capable of streaming the geometry in real time. And it's nice. You don't have any popping anymore, and you can have quite high detail meshes that it'll sort of dynamically adjust to how far away they are on the screen. It's really nice. So you also don't need as much loading times, because right now what you do is you typically load all of the models in advance, and with the new geometry streaming system, you can sort of load them dynamically, because it's fast enough that when you get close, like you can have a low res version of those flags up there on the screen. When you get close to them, it'll just feed more data in, and as long as you don't move too quickly, you'll be fine. You don't need a loading screen. And so some people, by the way, looked at that part where she was walking through the crack and walking through the door, Be like, oh, okay, that was a loading screen. Because those are typically the tricks that we do in video games to hide the loading screens, right? In Mass Effect 1, if you ever played Mass Effect 1, there were these elevator rides you'd go on, and so they would sort of hide the fact that they were loading screens by having dial, and it was pretty obvious it was a loading screen because that was the Xbox, was it the original Xbox or Xbox 360, one or the other, and it was slow. It was really slow to load a level, and so they would have Shepard and his various companions talking on the elevator, and they had very amusing elevator ride conversations. But that's like the kind of tricks that we do to hide the fact that in the background the Xbox was frantically loading the next chunk of the Citadel. And the reason why I had to do that was because it had to have everything loaded up by the time the level started. Otherwise, you'd see parts of the Citadel appearing, as it loaded from disk, and that looks really kind of janky. They didn't do a very good job making this game. And if you're fast enough though to do this, then what you do is you just open the door and there's the level, and as you get closer, it streams in more data. So pretty cool stuff. So some people were saying like the walking through the crack and walking through that doorway were actually loading screens, because that's the kind of trick we do right now, right? Like you'll squeeze your way in through a door, and when you're squeezing your way in through the door, what it's secretly doing is like frantically loading the next area, and then you don't notice there's a loading screen. Like anytime there's a door, like in Zelda or something like that, and the door takes a really long time to open or something like that, that's typically a loading screen hidden behind the fact that it's just taken a while to open that door, or you'll have a door opening animation, and then it loads the next, and so that time that it takes the door to crack open, it's loading the room or whatever behind it. So things like this, like people were looking at, like, oh, okay, that's a loading screen. Actually isn't. With the new geometry streaming system, this is all just one world, and so that's thing one. Thing two is the Lumen, the lighting system is really cool. Like the way they're doing lighting now in Unreal Engine 5 is like chef's kiss, like pretty cool stuff. And you can see it's like pretty amazing lighting wise. So you can see they're moving quickly, and you're not noticing any geometry. You see that there's no popping, like things normally you'll see an LOD pop as you get closer to something, and it's streaming that geometry in real time. It's pretty cool. So the Lumen illumination system is pretty rad. Like I'm quite impressed with it. And then the please don't put lens flare in a first-person shooter, right? J.J. Abrams. Morrowind on old Xbox, loading every step. Yeah, like in Morrowind, right? It's a cell-based. The whole Gamebryo engine. It's a different game engine from Unreal Engine. So it's a cell-based. Map, right? So basically, what you have is the map is divided into cells, and then depending on your graphics quality, it chooses how many cells to render. The 1, the 9, the 16, 25, whatever. More and more cells around you get rendered. And so things off in the distance. You see how the mountain is just like appearing there, right? So this is something that would be considered unacceptable today. But they've got what's called a far clipping plane, and the far clipping plane is like not very far. It's like a stone's throw away, and you can see here, let me rewind that. That's you have something called a view frustum, right? The view frustum is like a pyramid with the top chopped off. The near part is the near clipping plane. The far part is the far clipping plane. You got a field of view, and that defines the area that gets rendered. What's interesting is that the corners of it are a little bit further away than the area straight ahead. So when you turn the camera, oftentimes you'll see things pop in because, right, like if you're in the center of a square, the distance to the edges is closer than the distance to the corners. And so if I play this, watch what happens when the camera rotates. You see that? The camera rotates and suddenly a chunk of land appears right there. You see that? So as they're walking forward, the far clipping plane is getting closer, And then when they rotate, you can see that more land actually appears because they're hitting the corner of the frustum there. And so as you're walking around, you can literally see the world appearing in front of you, which is really not acceptable in today's environment. So, was that the guy that had the boots, the jumping boots? Man, look at how bad those graphics are. Back in the day, I thought it was just fantastic graphics. I don't know. Yeah, you just see all this stuff drawing in, and they use fog to obscure it. That's an old school trick as well. So what you do is you just put a lot of fog in a level, and then you hide the fact that geometry is literally popping in front of you, right? See that? But that's not even an LOD issue. That's just a clipping plane issue. So let's see if we can find a cave or something. Where's the cave? No, that's a town. Look, you see those jaggies there? I don't know how much is coming through on the stream. Let me increase the resolution to 4K for you. Stream quality, source resolution. There you go. You can view the jaggies in 4K resolution now. Had to jump scare monsters with random monsters spawning in front of you. Yeah. So do you guys see that though? Like the stair step pattern here on all the like those lines there are kind of broken. Those are supposed to be solid lines, and they're just like doo-doop, 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 doo-doop. Right. So this is a well-known problem in computer graphics called aliasing. So basically, what's happening is that it's to determine if a part of that rope is being drawn or not. There's probably something like if the majority of the rope covers this pixel, draw the rope. And so what's happening is that, like maybe on these spots where it's not drawn at all, maybe the rope is halfway across one pixel, halfway across another pixel, and so it just doesn't draw on either of them, and you have these gaps in the rope, right? And so when you do anti-aliasing, which you guys have probably heard of if you're gamers at all, is what it does, it tries to blur out those stair-step patterns like that. So, you know, is this spot covered by the triangle? Yes, draw the pixel. Draw the triangle, brown. If it's not covered, even if it's covered 40%, that's not enough. If it doesn't cover the center point of the pixel, draw nothing. And so you end up getting these really obvious things. And you get temporal artifacts as well. Like watch the sidewalk here, whatever you want to call that. Watch what happens. Do you guys see how there's like that shimmering? Did you guys see that? Is it coming through on the stream? Like, you see how there's like a shimmering right here? It looks really garbage. When you get closer, it's not as bad, but if it's at a really oblique angle or at a distance, the shimmering is like really like noticeable. So that is resolvable with something called temporal anti-aliasing, where you like blur between frames, and there's a lot of very advanced algorithms to try. There's a lot of different ways of doing anti-aliasing. But you can see here, there's just jaggies everywhere that just look garbage. Like that guy's spikes sticking out there. Like when you're walking up to that guard right here. Like it's not even, like there's just holes in his spikes, right? And so anti-aliasing smooths out the jaggies. And temporal anti-aliasing then does away with the overtime. Temporal means time, right? Effects. But what I wanted to show you was a cave or something. The loading screen, maybe. I forgot just how bad the graphics were. Maybe it's because I played on a PC. That it wasn't as garbage as this. This is pretty bad. This is like graphics like I'd expect to see in the 90s, honestly. Look at that. Mud crab time. Wow. What a great animation. How amazing that was. Alright, can we find a cave or something? Yeah, you're killing mud crabs. Come on, find a cave. Okay, here we go. Here's a cave. Oh, no. Okay, so here's how loading works, right? So in all of these Gamebryo engine games, the terrain is a 2D terrain, right? It's literally a plane, and then on the plane you apply color from black to white is exactly the same as Unreal Engine, right? And white is max height, black is minimum height. And you can spray paint the terrain, and then you get mountains and hills like that. But you can't have any openings in it because it's 2D. You can't cut a hole in it. Unreal Engine, you can chunk out part of the map. You can actually delete part of the map, but you can't have like a tunnel or something. So what you have to do is a trick like this. So what they do is they take a mesh, right? So this is a mesh of like a rock and a door built in the mesh. And they just sort of attach it to the hillside. So it looks like this is like part of the terrain. It's not. The terrain's here, the terrain's here. This block, all this stuff are static meshes, and they have a static mesh for a door. And then when you walk up to it, thank you. Look at the jaggies. You hit it. After you save, okay, cool. You save. Look at that saving speed. Okay. Then you hit it, then it loads the area. So you got a loading screen there. Okay. With, okay, it's kind of derpy. Needs more antialiasing. Yeah. So that was a loading screen. And the reason why they have to do that is because everything has to be loaded before you can draw it. And with Unreal Engine 5, you kind of don't need, you could just have that door swing open, and you'd probably have to have a portal, or you'd have to have some sort of like special effect to be able to go inside of the landscape. Maybe you delete the landscape and just build a mesh inside of it or something. But you don't have to teleport into a new area. What all the Elder Scrolls games do is that when you hit a door, like in Oblivion or something, the door swings open slightly, it goes, and you can't see anything inside. It's gray. Back there it goes, and then it teleports you into a new level. And so in Unreal Engine, we have levels. You can actually have different maps, and you can make it so that in blueprints, when you use the E key on a door, it sends you to a different level. Very easy to do. It's a single node. I can probably do it for you today, real easy. But in the future, it's probably going to be not as important. Maybe if you're making like a, I don't know, side scroller or something, and you want to just divide up your map with, you know, Mario World 1-1. That's an easy level. Mario World 1-2 level. You know, that's kind of easy. But like if you're making a game like Skyrim or Hammerfall or whatever the next Elder Scrolls is, you're making an open world game, it kind of makes more sense to just have it all be on one level because it's an open world, right? And loading screens take away from the immersiveness, and if it's a slow loading screen, it's really annoying, right? Because you have to just sit there and wait for the game to load. So Unreal Engine 5, by doing streaming, is going to make loading screens like mostly irrelevant. You know, you're probably going to need them sometimes, but mostly irrelevant. And the third thing, in addition to geometry streaming and the lighting system, which is rad, they're doing a really cool thing to make collaboration better. And collaborating on projects on Unreal Engine 4 is miserable. It is absolutely miserable. I have tried this with my students every semester, and it's just like, oh Lord. It's just painful. And the reason why it's painful is because, for one thing, Unreal Engine doesn't support collaboration. Sort of. Like if you put your thing up on Dropbox, sure, somebody can Dropbox it. But let's say they change a U asset or something, right? Like if you look at the oh good, it's loaded. Okay. So like let's say that they come in here and they change the zombie blueprint. Okay. So the zombie blueprint, if you show in Explorer, you can see that zombie blueprint is a U asset file. Here's the kicker. You can't just send the U asset file to somebody else and expect it to work. I don't know why. It just doesn't. And Unreal Engine can't open U asset files. Like there's no import system for importing U assets, which is baffling. It's just like I just want to send you my zombie blueprint. You know, you've got a copy of the project. I got a copy of the project, and things just break when that happens because I'll tell you how they do it. But like the fact that you can't, let's see if we can open this with Vim. Yeah, you see how it has the paths built into it? And so if the paths of the person you're sending it to are different, then it breaks. It can work, I guess, as long as you're not making any serious changes, maybe. But there's not even an import system. You just literally drop the UACID in and just pray that it works. And a lot of times it doesn't. And so I've tried moving things between projects before, and you can't just move things between projects because all the paths are wrong and it all breaks. And it's a dumb system. So, yeah, in File Explorer, right? But even here, like if you go to the import thing, right? If you try importing like a blueprint class, or that's making an import class. Let's import it class. If we go into UE4 projects, Doge League, content, starter content, architecture. See, none of the stuff in there. There's stuff in there. It's just none of it can be imported because they're all U assets. It's annoying. Super annoying. So what you have to do is you have to export it. You can export, you can't import. So you have to go through the export process. Where are you? Copy. Where are you? Asset localization, asset actions, migrate, export. Yeah, so you can export these things, or you can migrate, which is the easier way of doing it. So if you have two projects on the same directory, you can migrate from one to the other, and then it does everything that it should do, which is update all the paths and pull in all the textures it needs and things like that. But it's just why? Why? So File Explorer, no, you can't. Don't move things around in File Explorer. Use the import button when you can, and use the export or migrate tools to send things to other people. But it's a pain. So now imagine you've got 100 people that are working on the same project, right? Who's got the official version, right? If you're on Dropbox, then everybody's sharing a Dropbox, and then it just sort of updates, and when somebody saves something, it just sort of updates, and then your stuff breaks because they haven't, they've uploaded one of the 10 files, but the other 9 are in the process of uploading, and so this thing is updated and the other 9 aren't, and so your thing suddenly breaks. It's garbage. You can't use Dropbox, really. You'd hope it's source controlled online somehow. Yes. So let's talk about source control. So in fact, look right here, connect to source control. Okay. So Perforce is the official source control system for Unreal Engine. That's what all the professional developers use. My server probably doesn't work anymore. Yeah. So they gave us access to a Perforce server for the Unreal Engine Game Jam back in September. So they gave us 2 months access. It's now over. So I don't have access to my source control anymore. But this is basically what you do. You punch in the Perforce server, your username, the name of the workspace, and then when you connect, which it won't have, you'll punch that in, you hit accept, and then what happens is run without source control. Then what happens is that you can check out things. So I could start messing with the zombie blueprint and check it out. And when I have it checked out, nobody else can mess with it. And then when I hit save, I could commit it, and then it uploads that asset to source control. Then other people, when they'll get a notification, and it'll pull down the updated version as well. And so there's a centralized repository that holds the official version of the source. And when you're ready, when you're messing around, you're trying different things. Okay, it works now. Then you commit it to the source control system that you're using, and check out, and then you can submit. So you can check out a file to own it. I own it now, not you. And then when I'm done with it, I submit to source control and I check it all back in, and it works okay. It works okay. It's not great. It's really not great. It's actually kind of bad, but it's not as bad as all the other alternatives right now. So Unreal Engine 5 though is making it easier to work with it, which I'm actually pretty excited by. How do you import a texture? Well, you just go to import. I don't know, I'll just show you. Game textures. Let's look for. Oh, that's nice. I actually think I saw. Is this? I actually think I saw them make this at GDC, or something very similar to it at least. It's kind of cool. They started off with brown, and they found these cracks, and they added like a normal map, so it looks like there's like little divots in it, and then they added a noise to have darker and lighter areas. If you guys remember materials from back in the semester, pretty cool stuff. Leather scans by Keegan King. Maybe it's probably not that one then. Camping. Camp it. That's cool. All right, let's find like a when you want to import and wants to import packs. Yeah, let me show you. So I don't know. Give me what do you guys want to import? Ooh, that looks cool. I like that one. I'm gonna do that one. Sorry, not taking requests anymore. Right. So I found a texture, and then if you have it in one project and you want to send it to another one, use the migrate tool. Yes. If you want to import though, you can't import from another project, which just seems incredibly limiting to me. So we'll do a 4K Unreal Engine download. You're not logged in. Okay, let's log in then. Pretty sure I have an account on here. Have to, right? There we go. Success. So I have to go through this again. Okay. So you Unreal 4K downloads, download, successful purchase. All right, art access, game textures. Oh, cool. I already have a folder for that. Floral design 10 wall Unreal 4K bitmap. I already have it. Okay, well, no, let's pretend I just downloaded it. So go over into our assets, game textures, floral design 10 wall, right click, extract, and here we go. So here is the thing. We got the albedo map, also known as the color map, which is that. It's black and white, maybe not too helpful. The emissive map, which is black because none of it glows. This is the height map, and so this is how much it's raised up off of the surface. And that's what creates that cool embossed pattern. This is going to be different ambient occlusion map and normal map. Normal map is which direction each point on the surface is facing to do lighting calculations correctly. And opacity is opaque. Okay. So let's do okay. Import asset. Let's see, Unreal Engine projects, art assets, game textures, floral. Select all those. I probably should put these into a directory, huh? Okay. New floral. Folder. It's a folder. Floral folder. Floral texture. I probably should have just a textures directory. Let's see. Floral design. Okay. All 6 of you guys will go into the folder. And then inside of there, I'm going to make a new material. And this can be called floral matte. And you will come over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag these guys in here. So I've got all 6 of those textures in there. And ambient occlusion, height map, emissive, albedo, and opacity. So the type of material we have over here, okay, there we go. Material domain, where are you? Blend mode. Okay, well, let's start with this. So, color hooks up to color. Emissive, technically we defaults to 0, so technically not use that, but whatever. Emissive goes into emissive. Opacity, just not used, it's fine. Who are you? You're the normal map, I think. There. And then you are the height map. And that is what I need to turn on. Roll position offset. Let's try this here. And then ambient occlusion. Let's see if this just works. There. Alright. Alright, that actually works pretty well. Cool. And we're done. So you might notice that this is not as easy as it probably should be. Okay. And that's just a criticism I have of the whole import process to begin with. So let's try out a sphere, drop floral matte on it, and walk over and take a look. So let's say I just did this, right? Like, let's say that I'm connected to source control, and I just imported some new assets. Go away, zombies. Interesting. Something's don't look good. Most of it looks good, right? That actually looks pretty solid. Like, you can see how the lighting interacts with the height map and the normal map to make it look like there's this embossed pattern on it. Oh, it needs to be metal, but I don't know why it's got these weird. I don't know what's going on with that thing there. Metallic, drag that out, or just hold down 1, click. Metallic level is going to be 1. See, it's not appearing on the preview here. I wonder if it's like a reflection or something. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. That looks pretty good. I don't know what's going on with that. Huh. Looks pretty good. Other than this, which I need to figure out. So let's say I just made this, right? I imported the assets, I created a new material, done. Okay. Now, it only lets you migrate to a sole project. If you have 2 projects, so what you do, like, let's say I want to migrate this to another one. So this thing depends upon these things, right? Like, this material depends, it doesn't have a copy of them, right? If you look at the size of this thing on disk, it's only 133K, whereas these maps are like 10 megs each, you know, for the big ones. So you can see this UAsset file here doesn't actually have the pictures in them, right? So what we need to do is export it. So we come over here, right click, and go over to Asset Actions, Migrate. And okay, we're going to migrate. And by checking that, you see how it also checks these things as well. It's because Unreal Engine knows this depends upon this. And so if those things depend upon other things, those get pulled in too. So everything that sort of this depends on, this depends on, this depends on, this depends on, all of it gets sucked up together. Okay. So we hit OK. And then we pick a destination content folder. So we come up to a different project like Fall 2021. Click on the content folder and hit select, and then migrated successfully. Now let's bail out of this and go into Fall 2021. Did I save that? That might be a little bit awkward. I think it just notified me that Unreal Engine crashed, and I don't think it saved. So we might have it in. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. We might have it here and not in the other one. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So come back over to the map here. In the Bill folder, you can see that there is now floral texture here, and everything. Manage plugins. Yes. So, DLSS, please. It does this sometimes. It's really weird. Like the search function just doesn't work. Cool. Sweet. Good job, Unreal Engine. All right. Let's see here. DLSS. It'll be neat if the search worked. It doesn't matter. I don't need it for this project anyway. Okay, so I can still drag out a box and put the floral mat on it. Anyhow, that's how you can migrate between projects. You just right-click, migrate. You pick the content folder for the other project. That's the thing that people get wrong, is that you have to go into the content folder, specifically the content folder, not a parent directory, not a child directory, exactly the content folder, hit select. If you pick something that's not a content folder, it'll warn you. So you need to export all textures or make a new one. Anything that you want exported, you're going to need to go through that process. The good news is I think you can probably migrate. Yeah, you can migrate an entire directory, and then it'll pick everything in the build directory. That's one of the reasons why I put everything into a build directory, so that all my stuff is in one place. Otherwise, I'd have to be like, okay, did I make a new flower? And I like go into the did I make something over here? Did I make something over here? By just putting all my stuff into a directory, I could just migrate it easily to a new project. Then all my stuff is in one place. So it's not the best design. I should have a materials folder inside of here, a meshes folder. I should kind of have the same kind of layout, type folder layout. Inside of Bill, I tend to just throw everything into Bill and just use the search to find it, But yeah, like all these materials should be in like a materials directory, and all the animation stuff should be in an animation directory. But yeah, it works out well enough for my purposes. Not too embarrassed by it. Okay, so that's that. All right, so let's save and quit. I think we didn't change anything, so let's come back into in or out of here. And game texture says that free marketplace thing. Yeah, they have a lot of free materials there, and it's a good resource. You can see I've legally stolen a lot of stuff off their website. So, cool stuff. Quite 3 gigs, just this much, which isn't even that much of their website is 3 gigs, right? Like, game development gets painful. So let's talk about how Unreal Engine 5 helps fix that a little bit at least. So Perforce, I think, to the best of my knowledge, I haven't checked. I think it's still the default de facto standard. There is something called Git. You might have heard of GitHub before. Hazelton, you've used GitHub, I'm sure. Spraggins, have you seen or heard of GitHub before? So, yeah. GitHub is terrible at doing this kind of stuff. GitHub was designed for source code. And that's why Hazelton called it source control, right? Because it's supposed to hold text documents. And the text documents change a little bit. You know, like you fix a bug, you go into like one part of the text, like there's the bug, I'm going to change that 5 to a 10, hit save. And then what GitHub does, or Git does, GitHub is a sort of an interface to Git, it only saves the fact, okay, on that line you changed a 5 to a 10. On line 43, character 26, you changed a 5 to a 10. And your repository is essentially a graph, if you've taken graph theory before. If not, it's just a series of changes to your documents. You got your original document, and it's got a series of changes, and you can checkpoint it at times to have an official release or whatever. And then more checkpoints will come off of that. It doesn't work with this. Right? Like let's say you had floral mat here. Let's say you have this texture here. You modify it a little bit, right? It can't find the differences because it doesn't know what a picture is, right? It doesn't know I changed 3 pixels. What it knows is that this giant binary file changed, and so it saves a new copy of this 10 megabyte file. And 10 megs isn't even that big. These things can get huge. And so what happens is every time somebody goes into your repo, they get a copy of every binary file, every version of every binary file, to check out the repo. And that's bad. It's really, really bad. Like imagine, like in order to get this, you would have to get every version that this asset went through for every asset. And so there's something called Git LFS, large file system. And so it's a hack on top of Git. Git really was not designed for doing this kind of stuff. There's a hack though called Git LFS, and what it does, it puts a text file in. And so when you edit the file, what happens is the text file changes as version 2, and so it just tracks that. And then the text file itself has a pointer. It's got a reference to where in some blob storage, some repo somewhere, that this texture could be found. And so every time you update it, the text file changes. And so when you grab the repository, it works nicely because they're all text files. And then when you check out the project, only the very last, unless you want something weird, only the very last one of those is looked at. The reference is pulled out by the tool. It does this transparently. It grabs the texture, downloads it to your computer. And then when you change this, it detects that this changed. It puts this back into the new version into a blob storage, and it edits the text file behind the scenes, version 9 now. And then it checks it into Git. The Git repository says, oh, version 8 changed to version 9. And the pointer to where you can find this online, some Dropbox link, some Perforce link, whatever, is changed too. And so it's it makes Git work with large files. Because by default, Git explodes. Git is utterly unintended for doing game development work. Perforce isn't really for game development either, but it's the best we have. And Perforce, for those of you that were use GitHub for Shadowrun, nice, yeah. Yeah, you can use Git for a lot of things. For binaries, you have to use Git LFS, or just horrible things happen. And it's sort of a hack, and there is support in Unreal Engine for Git. If you connect to source control, you can see that there's Perforce, Subversion, SVM, Plastic, and Git are supported innately. And when you do that, you gain the ability to right-click and check out an asset. So any files that I modified, I check them out, so I own them, and then you can check them back in. and Git's really not the right tool for the job. But, so, problem. Only one person can have a file checked out at a time. Okay? And so, this map is a file. So only one person could be putting objects on the map at a time. That's a problem. It's not a problem for a small team where you might only have one person doing things, putting buildings and things like that out. But a lot of times, you want to have two people sort of virtually flying around and, spray painting flowers everywhere, it's, one person's spray painting grass, another person's, putting laser zombies up on a roof, And you want to, you would think like it would just be like pretty straightforward, right? Like you just, you're in a virtual world and you're just putting things down. Nope. Not Unreal Engine 4. Unreal Engine 5, though, allows for that to a much greater degree. So what happens in Unreal Engine 5 is the levels are broken up into cells, kind of like what we were talking about with Morrowind. And so if you are spray painting flowers down here, like if I wanted to come down here and, go into the landscape tool and go into the landscape tool, thank you. Or no, sorry, foliage tool, compiling shaders, cool, awesome. If I want to come to the foliage tool and spray paint some of this stuff on here, great, cool. It doesn't matter, you know what I mean. It's like I'm in here spray painting some grass. It only checks out the cell that you're in. And so it breaks up, Unreal Engine 5 has a lot better support for open worlds. And so all the levels by default will be level streamed. Right now there's something called level streaming where you can chunk the world up, and as you walk around it loads chunks near you. Unreal Engine 5 has that built in by default, and one of the benefits of that is that if you're messing with the map, it only checks out the chunk of map that you're in. So somebody could be over there and they're going to be working on that building, and as long as they're not working on the exact 100 meter by 100 meter area, or however big the cells are that you are, then they hit save and it uploads, and then it'll download into your version. You hit save and your little chunk gets uploaded and then downloaded into their version. So yay, it's nice. So that's anything that makes collaboration easier on Unreal Engine. I'm all for, because it's literally the worst part of doing game development in Unreal Engine. Like I had a couple partners. I had 2 partners for the game jam, and so it took me a while to upload the 100 gigs that this project is, or whatever it is. I think it's maybe 40 right now. I think I deleted some stuff out of it. But for a while, In or Outie was 110 gigs, I think. Now it's at 60. Yeah, I purged I purged a lot of stuff from it. But uploading 110 gigs takes a while, especially when you have AT&T, Hazleton. So I was waiting for fiber, man, and fiber never arrived. Use that meme of the skeleton still waiting for, fiber never arrived. So I switched to Comcast to join the dark side. And yeah, 110. Yeah, and so here's the thing. Here's one of the things. Let's say that you modified this, and it's like a gig or so, right? And you come up here, you hit save, and you submit it to source control. Unreal Engine freezes until the upload is completed. There's no dialogue, there's no progress bar saying uploading to Perforce. Nope, it just freezes. You don't know how far along you are. And a lot of times you don't know how big that directory is. Like, you import some grass or something, right? Like, I don't know, some grass, whatever. How big is the grass, I don't know. I just import it. And I'm like, all right, check it in. And then Unreal Engine freezes. And I'm like, I sit there, shake the mouse, 15 seconds goes by. I'm like, how long am I in for here? I don't know. Like, how big is this? It doesn't tell you. There's no progress bar. It just freezes. And so, where's the show an Explorer. So like I brought in some grass. I'm like, all right, let's check that in. Because my partners, because my partners need it, because my landscape now has grass on it, and so I have to check it in so that they can check it out, and they have to download 110 gigs, and one of them was up in Oakhurst and had even worse internet than AT&T Uverse, so 9 gigs. Right? And so imagine somebody on DSL trying to download 9 gigs and upload 9 gigs. It goes from being an interactive game design process to you click submit and things freeze for an hour. Yeah, it is not good. Collaboration on Unreal Engine, like I spent more time trying to just get the collaboration side of things to work. Sounds like a problem, but it's a massive problem. Yeah, it's because it's not designed for that. Like the notion is you're in a company and the company has a Perf4 server and you've got gigabit Ethernet between you and the server, which is like right there, and all 5 developers are like right there next to each other in pre-pandemic times, and the server's right there, and like you hit submit and 9 gigs will hitch for like 9 seconds and then it's uploaded. All right, cool. Maybe that's optimistic, but you know what I mean. Like it's not an hour. And then every time I update something, if it tagged that whole folder as in need of change, that's another hour of my life gone. And on the other end, they hit, all right, update, and then it takes them 4 hours to update something that's like, I don't know. I went through the grass and turned on level of detail, foliage level of detail or something. Like I had to go through and like mess with the thing because the defaults are wrong on the grass. And then they're like, cool, I guess I'm going to go not do the project now for 4 hours because the grass, like one Boolean on some grass was changed. 1 bit was changed. And so that's 4 hours of my life gone. So, yeah. It's anything that makes collaboration better, I'm all for. And we ended up not even using it. Like, I struggled with it all week, and it was just so awkward. It slowed me down so much every time to upload, gigs of data over Uverse. Check in. All right, I guess I'm going to go to Starbucks now. I come back, it's still frozen. All right, I guess it's still uploading. So it's yeah. I ended up just I actually started the project over because everything was broken. Like things were checked out that weren't marked as checked out, and vice versa, and all the permissions were wrong. And I just ended up purging it, starting over, and migrating the assets over, and then just doing it basically single player. Not using the source control at all. And then, like, before I go to sleep, I'd connect to source control and push everything, and just let the machine run overnight, uploading all the assets to the Perf4 server. But then on their end, it would take them like 4 days to download 110 gigs, and so, or at least one of them. So they ended up just Dropboxing me this stuff. Like, here you go, here are the assets, and of course the importing didn't work because it's on Dropbox, and so I had to like take all of their meshes and materials and recreate everything they had done. Like the art assets I didn't have to recreate, but like putting it together in Unreal Engine, I had to redo because it's stupid. So let's go over the game over screen. So this is what Dolan sent to me. Hazelton, were you in the same class as Dolan, Stephanie Dolan? She was my partner for the game jam. Where are we here? Nope, it must have been a different year then. So she made a couple MS Paint things, and so the hassle going through this MS Paint thing was hours of my life just to get asset control. Because the notion was she would just push the asset up to the Perf4 server, right? And there's a couple of different graphics, whatever. All she would do is push them. I would pull them. Everything would work. But that's not the reality, because Perf4 also won't allow you to like do that. It really wants to make sure you have the most recent copy of everything, and then your system hangs forever. So, all right. So we got a couple images. We've imported these. Let's do a game over screen. So, where is not you? Death Shell System, Explosive Barrel, Health Bar HUD. Okay, that's not just the health bar, it's everything. Okay. So what, this is my HUD. Okay. And before we go any further, do you guys remember how to add a HUD, add a widget to the view screen? So you first of all create a user interface widget, Bob, and I'll save that. Bob's been saved. And then you go into your third-person blueprint, third-person character. There's the main character. And then on event play, begin play, begin play, wherever you are, up there. Okay. Then what you do is you create a widget. So this is going to create the health bar widget. I'm going to just turn that off for now. And I'm going to instead add Bob. So I'm going to say create widget, like that. Class is going to be Bob, and the owning player is me. So, okay, so you guys understand? So in order to attach a HUD, or anything, it doesn't have to be a HUD. If you want a game over screen, that's a widget too, you can attach to the thing. There's a completely different way of doing HUDs, which is how I taught in the past, but let's not worry about it, it's just not as good. So this is the correct way of doing it. Okay, so I just created a Bob, and when the player begins, it attaches Bob to the screen. Currently Bob does nothing, and then, oh, it's not attached to the screen yet. Also, you have to do attach it to the viewport. Okay. To viewport, why are you not? It might need to be casted. No? Okay. So just add to viewport. I don't know why that wasn't showing up. So we create a widget, we add it to the viewport, and then Bob is going to appear on the screen. Save. Third person example map. Okay. So when we play the game now, there's no health bar anymore because I've turned that off. No health bar, right? No health bar, no game over screen, none of that stuff. So what I want to do is for Bob, where did you go? Here's Bob. All right, so here's my screen. And let's just start off by doing something simple like, I don't know, text or something. And I'll just, someone's calling me, hang on.
Before your warranty expires and your coverage is voided. This would make you financially responsible for all service repairs. Press 1 now if you wish to extend or reinstate your car's warranty. Once again, press 1.
Kills me. Kills me. All right. Thanks for interrupting my class, assholes. All right. So begin play, cast a widget. No, not cast a widget. No. No. Not that one. What you want to do is snap you over here. You create widget. You want to create a widget. So you create a widget and then you attach it to the viewport, and that's how you do a game over screen or a health bar or anything like that. Okay. So compile, save, yeah, make sure all that's saved. And right now Bob is just text block because I'm just going to show you how that works. Save. And now it's going to upload to the Perforce server for an hour, and I'm going to go cry. Okay. All right, hit play. And so, see where it says text block? So there you go. So anything that you put onto that screen there is going to be on the screen, and it's relative to the anchor. So you saw how the text block is kind of like up that way. That's because if you look over here, you can see that it's connected to the top left corner of the screen, and it's 800 pixels by 500 pixels away. So if you want it near the center of the screen, you can do that, and then just kind of put it like right at dead smack in the center of the screen, and hit play, and now it'll be anchored to the center of the screen, and it'll appear smack in the center now. Okay. It's useful for things like crosshairs and things like that. Okay. So, get rid of the cast to viewport. Yeah, get rid of the cast. It's just all you need is create and add. That's it. So begin play, create it, add to viewport, done. The cast to viewport over... no, I didn't do that, did I? Okay. Just that. So create, add to viewport. Okay. I'll take a screenshot for you. Okay. So then whatever we put on here is going to appear on the screen. So if you want a game over screen, it's pretty easy. Just drag out an image and just have the image cover the entire screen. Offset left 0, offset top 0, offset right 0, offset bottom 0. There we go. What image? Well, loss. No. What's the name of the thing? I don't remember the name. There we go. It's just called loss. Okay, cool. So there you go. So you just take a picture, throw it on there, game over or whatever. Yeah. And then if you want, you can have this thing appear automatically. For now, I'll just show you what it'll look like when it appears. It'll just cover the entire screen. There you go. Right, so the game's playing, but you just can't see anything because the HUD's covering everything, right? So there's two different ways you can make this thing appear. First of all, you can just save Bob like this, which is arguably the simplest method. So what you do is you just don't create a Bob widget until the game's over. Right? You know what I mean? Like, just keep this in your pocket, and when your health drops below 0, create Bob, attach it to the viewport. Done. You do black background blur as well. Yeah, I mean, my image is covering the whole screen, but yeah, if you just have something on the part of the screen, then you can do a background blur, which will blur out the things behind it. So that's useful if you're doing like buttons and things like that. Another way you can do it is you can bind things. So you can make it so like when you click on a button, it does something, it runs a blueprint. What I'm going to do for this is I'm going to make it so that rather than in the third-person character blueprint, like somewhere in here I've got like a the damage thing, right? So if I hit, yeah, okay. So let me show that approach first. So every time I take damage, my health goes down by the amount of damage taken. If my health drops below 0, my health is 0, and then I display the game over screen. Right? That makes sense to you guys? So I've got code that, and I don't need to do a trigger here. Where are you, designer? Get brush, remove binding. Yeah, so this is one way of doing it, where you just have a widget that just literally, all the widget does is just display the game over screen. Okay? And so what I'm doing is I'm saying if I ever hit 0 health, then I just display the widget. That's it. And then I should probably, like, I don't know, like pause the game or something so the game's over. Yeah. But that's pretty good. So that's how you do a game over screen. If you ever hit 0 health, then display game over, add to viewport. I don't know, pause the game, or set the game pause to be true. Right, and then that's it. We've got a working game over screen. That's all it really is. I'll show you guys the binding method in a second once this saves. Let me die. These guys are going to come up and hit me. You can see my health bar is dropping. They keep knocking me. Health bar is dropping. Health bar is dropping. And I'm dead. Okay, so displayed Bob. You notice the music stopped. If I hadn't hit pause, it would still keep playing the music, and you would hear the zombies running around and stuff. It was just a little bit janky, so I just paused the game. Alternatively, you can tell it to load a level for like the main menu screen if you have it set up that way, or you can load this level again. Where's my mouse? There we go. So you can pause the game and then I don't know, delay 3 seconds. And then we could restart. Load level, load stream level, streaming level. Where are you? What's it called? Open level. Not load, it's open. Alright, so you have to have the name punched in, and the name of this level is... What is the name of this level? That's a good question. Third person, blueprint, maps. I don't think it's you. It is you. Okay, cool. So the name of the map is third person example. Copy. Come back into third person character here and paste the name there. You have to type this in exactly. Make sure you're not anything crazy. And there you go. So that should do it. And so you could also play a sound. You'd be like, wah, wah, you know, and just you know, game over, you know, something like that would work as well. One 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Oh, the game's paused. Or possibly I didn't type the name in right. 'You guys notice the attenuation on that? When you are out of line of sight of the speakers, it gets quieter. Huh. Oh. Oh, there we go. Alright, yeah, alright. So it did work. Cool. I was about to give up on it. So that's how you can do it. So game over screen, delay so it doesn't just immediately like, you know, and then load a new level. So screenshot that for you as well. That's an easy way of doing an end of a game. So one thing I wanted to show you guys today, we got 10 minutes left and it won't take that long even, is a timer. Okay, so a timer is similar in Quake, how like you have the next think. It's used in two different ways, just like in Quake. One is to just have something happen after delay. And it's a little bit different from the delay node. The delay node, if you look at the delay node, you'll see that if the same code is entered a second time while there's a delay, it ignores it. And that's what allows delay to be used with event tick. So if you have event tick with a delay of 1 second on it, every tick it's firing, and the delay node's like, nope, busy, nope, busy, nope, busy, nope, busy. And then a second later, oh, I'm free again, and it runs again. So with a timer, what you can do is you can have things separate from all that, firing every second, or just firing after delay. It's like you throw a grenade, and then 3 seconds later you want it to explode. You set a timer for it. Okay, so let's, I don't know, make a new binding or something. Project settings, input. What do we got? Turn, look up, player 2 fire, alt fire. Yeah, let's just make one called I don't know, grenade or something. I'm not actually going to make a grenade, but I'll just pretend. Call it grenade, and it'll be bound to the G key. Why not? Save. Look at that. Look at that saving time. 60 gig project. All right. So over here in our thing, we'll just make a new comment for grenade throw. You guys already know how to make projectiles and sounds and stuff like that, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to add a new action called event G. It's a lot easier to find it that way, by the way, than if you just type G, because there's a lot of G's. So if you type event G, then it takes you right to the keyboard events section. It's a little handy tip there. Okay, so event G. So when somebody hits the G key, actually, this could be fun. Let's make it so they pull the pin when they hold down G, and they throw it when they release G. That's kind of cool, right? That's kind of cool. Is it cool? I think it's cool. So I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care what you guys think. It's cool. No, you guys know what I mean, though? Like, when you hit G, you pull the pin, and then when you release G, you throw it. It's cooking a grenade. It's a very common tactic in a lot of video games. So when we press it, what we're going to do is we're going to create a timer. Set timer by event, set timer by function name. They're pretty close. I am going to do by event because it's a little bit safer for new programmers to do a timer by event. So I'm going to have a variable that is the promote variable, and this is going to be called grenade cook time, and it will default to. You don't like it? I need the event hooked up. That's fine. So grenade cook time is going to be 3 seconds by default, and so that'll be a parameter that, you know, like if you have haste or something, I don't know, you can change that. It's usually good to not hard code those things into your games. Have a variable for it. Yours would be a HUD. Oh yeah. You could you could probably put onto the HUD like a little bar going up at you pull the pin and it's like throw it. Changes colors when it gets close to firing. Anyway, so that's not the point. The point is how to do a timer. And so after 3 seconds, run this event. That's what we want to have happen. And so the event is going to be called add event. Thank you. Add custom event. And this is going to be called grade explode. That's what professors do. Grade explode. Grenade explode, like that. And so what this will do is say in 3 seconds, call this event. And this event is a blueprint. You just drag off of it. And so in 3 seconds, it'll run whatever blueprint you put here. Naturally, what we're going to do first is what? Grenade cook time? Yeah, that's the time until the grenade goes off. What's the first thing we always do to make sure these things work? guys remember? Print hello world. Yep. In this case, I'm going to print boom. Right. So I just want to make sure that that it works. You know what I mean? So compile, save, run. Feel that load time. Okay. And I hit G. 1, 1000, 2, 1000, 3, 1000. Boom. You guys see that? Grenade, 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 grenade. Boom. Grenade. Boom. Grenade. Boom. Okay. So, there you go. So, yeah, we can probably rename that Bill. Where'd it go, Bob? Game over screen. Okay. And then we can pull that off the health bar HUD. So health bar HUD, we could probably just get rid of loss entirely, honestly. But right now you can see it's bound. Let's see the showing of it. This is what I was going to actually show earlier. Visibility. So right now it's set to be invisible by default. And then if go over to the binding for it, what it does is it gets the player and it gets their health. And if their health is ever below or equal to 0, then it sets I am visible. Otherwise, I am not visible. So that's the other way that I was going to tell you guys about, where you can have everything in one HUD and then parts of the HUD turn themselves on and off. I personally don't like doing it that way. I kind of like having a separate game over screen, and then you can just turn that on and turn off the HUD for the health bar and things like that. So doing it with separate HUDs for widgets, I should say, for you win, you lose, and you just pop those up, when you win or lose. But the way that I did it, because I was rushing at the end, all those things are inside of the one HUD. So the losing screen, let me hide that. The winning screen, all that's on top of this, and I got a button here, which I think I was going to do something with that. Let me just delete that. I think I was going to show you guys like how to click on and stuff. Ooh, doesn't like it. Warning. What's the warning? What's a warning? Warning. See, lock videos. On clicked button 0. Yeah, we need to get rid of you. All right, go away. All right, so I made it so that when you click on that thing, it prints. It just prints hello world. Okay, so let me go back into the timer. So the other thing you do with the timer, in addition to just every, in addition to in 3 seconds explode, you can have it do a recurring explosion. So not just in 3 seconds, but every 3 seconds go off. Okay. So run that. So you can have it be a one-time delay, or you can have it be a recurring event. And so you can spawn, once this comes up. There. So I hit G, 3 seconds later, boom. 3 seconds later, boom. 3 seconds later, boom. 3 seconds later, boom. Okay. So it's real easy, real straightforward. Basically, the upshot here is every 3 seconds it calls grenade explode, and whatever you have attached here runs. And you can do anything you like. You can play a play sound 2D. Lasers, claps, display explosion. Okay. So, real easy. Very, very easy, very straightforward. Just you can hit one-time delay or recurring delay, either way. Hit G. G. There we go. So, every 3 seconds. Okay, forever. If you don't want it to go forever, then you can pull off of this, and you can promote it to a variable. And this would be your, you could save this variable, and then do things with it, like, where are you? You can like turn off the timer and stuff like that. So, but that's good enough for now. So it's 3 o'clock. I hope that was entertaining and educational for you guys. You learned about why source control and Unreal Engine is kind of a pain. By a kind of a pain, I mean it's really a pain. If your workflow doesn't really match what was intended, then it can be really, really annoying to try to collaborate with people on Unreal Engine, which is why I've stopped doing group projects with it. By the way, it's too hard. Okay, I need someone to step with you. 6 to 8 p.m. tonight. Yeah, yep. So, yep, 6 to 8 tonight. You need help? I'll be here. All right. So it is now time for the IS50B people who are not here. So, by the way, if you guys are interested in taking IS50B next semester, go ahead and sign up for that. The IS50B continues our study of Unreal Engine, but is a lot more on the underlying. Well, we do a couple things. We do level design, which we don't really touch on this class. But we also do a lot of like more programming stuff. And I kind of tailor those assignments to the programming level of the students. So depending on how much computer science you've had, you either get harder or easier assignments. But like if you're, I don't know, like Hazleton and hoping to take this class to get more programming practice, you'll notice all the programming we're doing is like visual. But still, that's probably good for you. Like understanding callbacks and things like that. It's like good. Because you don't get a lot of that in normal computer science. But like in 50B, you're going to be actually writing text programs and stuff like that. And I keep intending to like do text coding for Unreal Engine, and I just like blueprints so much better. I just keep doing blueprints. But we will do some stuff on the server with computational geometry and stuff like that. So be sure to sign up for that if you want more game design stuff. It's the goal is to get you to a place where you can apply for a junior position in a software company or a game development company to do game coding, right? Not specifically game engine coding, although some students have gone down that route. We've written simple ray tracers and stuff like that before. It's kind of fun. But mostly it's just to get your foot in the door, like maybe, get your project, get your mods to a level where you can like showcase it and like show it off to people and get hired, stuff like that. So it's fun. So sign up for it. It's more challenging than this class, but it's not any more challenging than you can do. So, like I said, I tailor it to your skill level. All right, so that's it for today, guys. Thanks for coming out. And Thursday will be the last class we have together. And then, like I said, finals week, Tuesday and Thursday, I will be here during normal lecture hours. Show up, present your mod, present your project, and good to go. That's it for the semester. All right, thanks a lot. Peace out.